will have a better game, the Ravens offense or the Broncos defense?
The Ravens offense. I think it'll be tough, but I think they'll be able to run the football and have some success. And they'll set up some play action for them. Look, Surtain is an animal, and he's the best cornerback in the league. I don't think it's particularly close. He's complete. There's nothing he can't do. There's no route he can't stop. He runs around for you half the time. He's really, really good. And if I'm a quarterback, I'm certainly not trying to throw in his direction. And I'm certainly not trying to do that if I'm Lamar Jackson. Not just because my receivers aren't good enough and Deontay Johnson is cool. It was a cute move. I don't know that it makes them like any different. It's cool. Like, it's cool. But I don't think that Lamar Jackson is a precision passer on the outside the numbers. I don't think he's a precision passer outside the hashes. So I'm just not testing him. You go to throw it to your tight ends, throw it to Likely, throw it to Andrews, mix in little Zay Flowers on some drag routes, right? On some deep overs. Be careful with them. But I think they'll have success. Obviously, they lost the game last week. They probably shouldn't have lost. Jameis did a great job on offense, leading his receivers, throwing with anticipation. He was awesome. So, I think the Ravens are going to play that defense, and I think that Bo Nix up against their defense is going to look horrific because I don't think he's really particularly good. Now, he could prove me wrong. The Ravens defense is not great. Their corners aren't great. That's true. But I think they'll be able to muddy it up a little bit and get after him. I'm not a big Bo Nix believer at all, but maybe he'll make me eat those words. After all, he is 30 years old.
You could have had him at 6. I mean,
yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
I'm looking at this differently. I think Denver, they've looked better than we thought they would be this year. That's because the defense, and then Bo Nix has played a lot better. Granted, some of those games are against bad teams, like last week against the Panthers. But like you said, this secondary is not really good right now. I mean, Jameis came off of the bench and lit them up last week for probably the best game of the year, one of the best games of the year. So I think Bo Nix can do the same thing. He's mobile. He's a threat with the rock when he's running. So he's one of the better. He's the third best rookie quarterback, and he's pretty good. He's looked pretty good as of late. So I wouldn't underestimate him if I'm the Ravens. One, because the defense isn't like what we've seen in the past. It's not a defense that you're like afraid of. So that puts a lot more pressure on Lamar this week. I think he could falter again. He's facing another good defense with good corners, and he's going to have to make plays with his arm. Can't just rely on your legs. So,
yeah, no, I'm with you guys on that. The only caveats are it's on the road for the Broncos, so they have to go to Baltimore. I would say that's one of the toughest places to play in the NFL. Just heard some tough things about that place, and just in terms of the fans just love their team, and the Ravens kind of rely on their history a lot of the time. I feel like young kids that come to the NFL kind of look at the Ravens like they're the big bad Ravens because they've always kind of had that defense. So even if they don't have a good defense, you can kind of psych yourself out into that. So I wouldn't be surprised if something like that takes place with Bo Nix. But the great thing for them is they have Sean Payton, who's not going to put Bo Nix in a bad situation. I mean, if you look at how far the game plan has come from when they played the Seahawks to what he's able to do now, like you said, Miles uses legs a lot more. I mean, I wouldn't write him off. I think it's actually going to be a closer game than people expect and a low-scoring affair, kind of like what we saw in the Cleveland Brown-Ravens game. So I really can't go either way because the Ravens like losing in twos this year. So why not 2 losses in a row after a good win streak? That wouldn't surprise me.